Okay. Equation of a parabola in vertex form. The vertex is negative 3, 4. It opens up. It's vertically stretched by a factor of 5. So the vertical stretch factor is the A value, which is 5. It opens up, so the 5 is positive. The vertex is that, which is your H and K value. Now, you don't have to write this, but just for the sake of the note, the y is equal to A bracket x minus h squared plus k. That is vertex form. So with all that information, you just plug all that stuff in. This should be an easy mark. So y is equal to 5 bracket x plus 3. Remember that the negative 3 goes in, becomes plus. We switch the h, don't switch the k though. The positive 4 stays positive 4. Check. All right, 33. You've got this thing here. We're going to find the vertex and write it in vertex form. So this is really more like quad 1 than quad 2 here. This is where I find the zeros. So the zeros are 5 and negative 1. After, I got a little messy. After I find the zeros, I find the axis of symmetry, which is 5 plus negative 1, and divide that by 2. I guess I shouldn't need to calculate as I go from my calculator. Okay, yeah, 4 divided by 2. I can probably do that in my head. That's 2. So x is equal to 2. Just write that in there, because a lot of times your teacher will ask you for the equation of the axis of symmetry. So just write it as x equals 2, because that is the vertical line. Now, optimum value is when I plug this axis of symmetry into the equation. So y is going to be equal to 2 minus 5. And 2 plus 1. So the x goes into both places for the x. Don't bother doing FOIL, just solve inside each bracket. So this goes to negative 3, that goes to 3. So y, when you multiply that out, is negative 9. And then we've got our vertex. So our vertex is the axis of symmetry, comma, the optimum value. So there's our vertex. Now, to write it in vertex form, well, as we saw up here, I need A, H, and K. So what is A? Well, look back to this equation. A is whatever would be on the x squared. If I expanded this out, the x times x would just give me a straight up 1x squared. There's no coefficient in front of here. There's no coefficient on the x's. So A is just going to be equal to 1. So y is just going to be equal to x minus 2 squared minus 9. There is the equation in vertex form. Okay. Yeah, still got lots of time in this video. Let's go do another one. So, on to 34, graphing. In order to graph, I want you to plot the vertex. So in this case, the vertex is negative 5, 1. And then you're going to do your step pattern. Now, your teacher might have done a different step pattern, but whatever step pattern you use, make sure it opens down because of the negative, and make sure it's stretched by a factor of 2. So I use 1, 4, 9 from the vertex. So I'm going to go down over 1, down 1. Over 2 down 4, over 3 down 9 from the vertex. Anyways, let's find our vertex. Negative 5. Oh, who didn't label these axes? Make sure you have some numbers on these axes so your teacher knows what you're graphing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 there. And that should be enough to tell them that you're counting by ones. So I'm just going to drop a 5 and a 5. So at negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative, it goes up 1. There is my vertex. You basically get a mark for that. Now, it opens down and it's stretched by 2. So instead of going over 1 down 1, you go over 1 down 2. So it takes down to here. And then I go back to the vertex and go over 2 and down 8. 2, 4, 6, 8, which will take you way down to there. And then do it symmetrically, like that. And that's basically what my parabola is looking like. Now, when you draw a parabola, when you're sketching in that curve, make sure it doesn't give a point at the vertex. It's a smooth curve through that vertex. Okay, so if you use the other step pattern, that's fine. You would have went over 1 down 2 and then over another 1 down 6. But I use 2, 8, 18. So each of these things got times by 2, so my step pattern went to 2, 8, 18. I don't actually use the 18 usually, though. It's too much. It's off my graph. Okay, next one. So same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll show where my 5s are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that we know what I'm numbering by. Vertex here is 3, negative 4. So over 1, 2, 3. down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and opening up with a stretch factor of 0.5. So instead of my 149, I'm going to go 1.5, or sorry, 0.5, so 1/2, and then 2, and then 4.5. Okay, so go over 1 and up 1/2. That looks like this. Now, when I go over 2, I'm going to go up 2, which is going to take me to there. And when I go over 3, I'm going to go up 4.5. So 2, 4.5. So 1, 2, 3, and 2, 4.5. So right there. Yeah, you can go more than this. So what's after 9? 1, 4, 9, 16 is, which is 8. So I could go over 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 8, which is that high. 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. You can get a lot of parabola in here when you've got that stretch factor of 1/2. And that's what it looks like. Hope you followed that. Get your vertex, plot your vertex, do your step pattern. However your teacher taught you to do the step pattern.